Welcome. Welcome, everyone. I'm Angelo Robles. Today, from Boardroom to Backbone, mastering high-stake exits and infrastructure, primarily energy, behind AI. Our special guest today is Paul Burgon, managing partner of Exit Ventures. And Paul, staying along your lines of best practices, what are some best practices for aligning, like you said, the stakeholders, the family, the board, management, pre-exit? What would you recommend? You mentioned you want to get that potentially planned well ahead of time, possibly years. What are some tactics that you use?
In my opinion, nothing is better than communication, and frankly, feeling maybe a little bit vulnerable and expressing some vulnerability in the communication, in aligning the values and aligning the decision-making process. So I think there's two parts to that. It's the aligning perspective and values of why we would want to sell to begin with, and then aligning perspective and values of what can we do afterwards. And there, like we said, there's the decision to sell is highly emotional. But I think best practices in terms of alignment is over communication, right? Over communication in terms of what the ultimate decision makers want to do, why they're doing it, the fact that this is not easy. It's been a long-term decision to get here. It's been a long-term thought process to make, build buy-in as much as possible. Influencers may not have the second generation or the third generation may not have a direct stake in the decision, but they're still stakeholders. And they, again, as influencers, as stakeholders, their involvement will be key in terms of building buy-in that would be less likely to create ripples and problems and, frankly, political problems or lack of a buy-in problem later. So I would say over-communicate on the decision, even if they're not direct decision makers, to try and get consensus and alignment, but also over-communicate on the perspective, meaning, and what that means. And that's where influencers or stakeholders can have a bigger role, is the future. And so get them, if they're not necessarily on board with the decision to sell, it may be easier by giving them the vision of what that means after the sale, not only for the family, but them directly, in saying, now in a family office, there are many roles that may not have existed before. So giving them excitement, sense of purpose, identity, involvement in the future aspect of the family office might help in the alignment of the sale process.